Hello everyone, my name is Andrea. If you don't know me, you should subscribe, but today I'm going to be doing a book review on the book Lightlark by Alex Aster. I haven't done a book review in a while, so I'm very excited to dive into this one. I did get an arc of Lightlark, so I got to read it before it comes out, which is today, Tuesday, August 23rd. If you want to grab it, it is out now. So I read Lightlark on audio from NetGalley, and that was, I don't have the physical book, so that's how I read it. So I don't know if that impacted how I consume the story, but I feel like, you know, it's the same. But I am going to get the book, and I do want to read it again physically just to make sure I didn't miss anything, and it was an interesting story, so I feel like now that I know what happens, I'd like to go back to the beginning. But I'm not going to talk about any spoilers until the very end. I have just one thing I want to say for anybody who has read the book to discuss like at the end, but the rest will be non-spoilers, so don't worry. There's been a lot of controversy about Alex Aster on TikTok, which I think is really funny. Not funny, but like interesting, because she's a BookTok author. Like, she was mostly promoted on TikTok, and that's how people have been like hyping her up and stuff. And BookTok hyped her up, and now BookTok is the ones that are like trying to tear her down and saying all this stuff about her, and I just think that's interesting. Like, I know book Twitter always has drama, but BookTok is showing its true colors with Alex Aster, so let's just get into it. Lightlark is about a centennial, which is essentially a game for 6 rulers of 6 different realms, where every 100 years they have to compete in the centennial. One of them has to die, and when one of them dies, their entire realm of people dies with them, but it is to secure the rest of the people and to try to break a curse that has been placed upon each realm. So also each realm has their own little powers. They're like wildlings, nightshades, starling, sunling. They're all named just like very basic things, and like each realm, what they're named is what their abilities are. So like sunling, I think, can like harvest the power of wind and like flying or something like that. It's just, you know, like that. But it was very interesting, and I think the magical fantasy world building aspect was really good in this book, especially for her first, it's not her first book, but it's like her first fantasy world book, I think. And I think it's pretty good for an author who's doing that for the first time. Oh yeah, so originally I gave the book 5 stars because the ending was very, not even climactic. It just had a big reveal, and I'm a sucker for what the reveal is probably gonna mean for the next books and like set up for the next books. So I think I'll definitely be living for the sequel because of this one thing. But I went back and I ended up giving it 4 stars because I realized that's not enough for me to give it a 5 star and like put it up there with like my favorite books like Shadowhunters or Six of Crows. It's definitely not that, but it's also good for what she was trying to do. I would like to say that the target audience for these books is YA. It is young adult. I'm 23, so I'm adult. I'm past the young adult stage, I would say, because I have been diving into more adult books and adult themes in books. That just felt okay. YA is not my target audience anymore for me, so going to this book, I definitely like think about that, and I adhere my rating to that, because I feel like a lot of people on TikTok that were complaining about things that are in the book, that it's not spicy, that it doesn't have smut and stuff like that. Well, it's a young adult book. It's not supposed to have intense freaking like smut. I'm sorry, it's not. So for what it had, I feel like it's young adult, it's categorized right, and I feel like the next books will probably have more spice as more relationships develop. I feel like BookTok a lot of the times, they just want spicy, smutty romance books in fantasy worlds, and they don't want the plot, they don't want everything else, they don't want the build up, and I'm like, you have to have that to care about the characters. The characters, on the other hand, did not feel fleshed out completely. I feel like I knew the main character, Isla, the most, and that's because we get her direct point of view. But everybody else, we didn't get to know too well, and the 2 love interest type that we did, who are Oro and Grimm, I really did like both of their characters. They're very interesting, and those are the 2 other ones that we got to know the most. And then there is one more, I think her name is Celeste, maybe, that we also got to know, that is Isla's friend, who was a little bit fleshed out as well. But the other characters, you know, for being 6 rulers of these vast realms, I expected there to be more of, I guess, luster to them. Like, I expected them to be grand, and like every time all the characters were interacting with each other, I expected it to be really entertaining and they would have like witty conversations and banter, but it wasn't. I feel like the main character was a very solemn character. It was a very solemn story where we were just in her head a lot, and that's not always my favorite thing in books, so I feel like that is also why I docked it a star. So something else I saw on TikTok that people were complaining about or just trying to like expose Alex Aster for was that some quotes she put on her TikTok that she said were in her book weren't in the book, and I read the art copy, so I can't say if they are for sure not in the book and just changed a little bit, but in the arc I read, I know there were some quotes that I saw on her TikTok that made me want to read it that were not in the book, and that was a problem for me when I realized that, because I feel like it was falsely advertised and I was kind of tricked into reading it for those quotes. But at the same time, I do think those quotes will be in later books, because I definitely feel like there was nowhere for them to be because the relationships or certain things, plot things weren't developed yet, and I feel like it's gonna come into play and those exact quotes will probably show up in the next books, I'm pretty sure. Like, and if they don't, I'm gonna be upset, but I think that's what's going on with that, so I'm not too mad about it. People also said that Alex Aster was just somebody that was an industry plant, so basically that means that people think that the publishing industry decided they wanted to have a rising star and just picked Alex Aster out of everybody they could and just decided that she had connections, so that she had money, or she came from a family with money, and that all of that contributed to her being published and was like the only reason she was published. And other authors have spoke out about this, like Victoria Aveyard and Sabaa Tahir and stuff like that, and have said that they liked the book, read the book, and stand by their viewings, and that they don't think industry plants are a thing, because to have an industry plant you would have to have an industry that can actually function to do that, and they don't think that they could pull it off. That's something Victoria Aveyard said, and I really think that is true. The publishing world is a bit crazy right now, and I don't think that's something they would spend their time on or efforts on. The one big problem I had with the book was that there wasn't a lot of fighting for a book where 6 rulers have to literally fight and kill one of them. There was not a lot of fighting, and even the end had, I guess you could say, a final battle, but not really, and I just wish there was more of that. It was a very low stakes book, if you know what I mean. Like, I wasn't concerned about the main character's well-being at all. I wasn't concerned about other characters dying because I didn't connect with them on the level where I was like, oh, please don't die, not you. I was like just there for the ride, which isn't a bad thing. Again, I think she was setting up a lot for the next books. If there's going to be 1 or 2 more, I know there's going to be 1 for sure. So that was my biggest thing. I wanted more fight scenes and more battle scenes instead of just being in the main character's head, because like ACOTAR, not comparing, but this book has, she literally said it's like an ACOTAR book, so you can't get mad at me for comparing. But Feyre in ACOTAR 1, ACOTAR is just, we're mainly in her head, and I don't like that. I just don't, and it really annoyed me. So being in Isla's head a lot also annoyed me a bit, so I think again I will like the next ones just like I like A Court of Mist and Fury and A Court of Wings and Ruin a lot more. I feel like Lightlark is going to be just like that, and I will definitely eat up the next books. Overall though, I think it was a pretty good book. It was entertaining. It had the surprise plot twist that you need, and whenever you get those at the end of a book and the book ends on a cliffhanger and it leaves you like, what the hell just happened? That's when I know I really like a book, because I'm invested. I want to know more. I want to read the sequel. So the book did its job and it did entertain me. I'm gonna go meet Alex Aster on tour next week whenever she's coming to Texas. So I'm gonna be listening to what Alex Aster says about the book, how she talks about it, if she goes into a little bit more detail on the writing process, on how she came up with the story and stuff like that. I'm really interested to know that, and I feel like it could make me more connected with the book. Also, she's going to be there, and the moderator is going to be Kaven from Kaven Books on TikTok, who is so freaking funny. I'm almost just as excited to meet her as I am to get my book signed by Alex Aster, because I just think Kaven is so funny. So whenever I saw it was going to be her moderating this event, I was like, yes, I'm going. I told my husband, pack it up, we're going. And so yeah, I'll be going to that, and once I know more about what Alex Aster has to say, like I said, I think I will have a more rounded, you know, review and perception of Lightlark. If you like young adult fantasy, I think you will like this book if you go into it without the opinions of others. I definitely think you should go into it with an open mind and form your own review. Do I think it deserves the slander it's been getting? No. Do I think Alex Aster is a bad person, bad author? No. I think her writing is actually really beautiful. I like her style a lot. And also, whenever all the controversy started happening from like these two TikTokers that decided to rant about Alex Aster and like makeup stuff, that caused the rating to go from like a 4.7 from ARC reviewers to a 2.74 the last time I saw it, which definitely makes no sense because all of a sudden 800 people were reviewing the book, which those people hadn't read the book. They were definitely people who saw it on TikTok and wanted to tank the rating on Goodreads, and it did happen, and that happened. So just saying, that is also a thing that I don't agree with in books, and I don't think authors should get hate like that. It was just too much. So definitely read the book, form your own opinion. I hope you enjoy it. It was a pretty good book, I would say. So that's gonna be it for the non-spoiler section. I hope this enlightened a little bit if you had any questions about Lightlark or what the stuff was happening about it, and a little bit what the book is about. So I do love Grimm. Grimm is my probably favorite character. He is the like dark-haired broody love interest, so it's not a surprise that that was my favorite character. But I'm gonna now go into spoilers, just one spoiler, and that will be it for the video. So if you don't want to be spoiled for Lightlark, go ahead and leave now, but I'm gonna go into spoilers right now. Okay, the big reveal at the end with Grimm was a lot because one, it was not set up enough. Like, Alex Aster could have hinted at the prior relationship a little bit more. Once I got to the end and got the reveal that, okay, so I'm trying to still wrap my head around what exactly happened, but basically Isla was wondering why she felt a connection with Grimm, and they even like kissed, and then he was like, we can't do this, and then he just ran away, and he was like, you should go be with Oro, the prince. Is he a prince? A king? I don't know. And she did, and she was confused, but she was also developing these feelings for Oro. And I was just confused a little bit because I thought her and Oro were gonna have just a friendly relationship, and then at the end she was like, when she found out that Grimm had lied and Isla had spent months and months with him in Nightshade, which there's no explanation on why or how. Like, I know that's coming in the next book, but why didn't we get to know just a little bit? It makes no sense. I don't know. I didn't like that. I don't like being left out of the know. But so whenever Grimm revealed that he's actually in love with her, and now Isla's like, well, I love Oro, I was just like, what? This is just not making sense. So I feel like she's gonna be with Grimm, or there's more, you know, to happen there, but that just stressed me out. I feel like that could have been hinted way better because we got these just random snippets with Grimm, and I was like, okay, and then there's just no payoff because it's just like, oh yeah, you were in love with me, you're in love with me, but you don't remember, and but the reader's not going to know why you were in Nightshade. That was frustrating to me. Also, for some reason I thought Oro was like, I mean, he is like 100, I think. Like, these characters are old, but they don't age, which also was never explained. And I thought he was like, looked like a 40-year-old man or something, and it was kind of like, I thought he was a uncle type figure, or like a older relative type figure to Isla, and a friend just helping her out. And then when she started saying like she had feelings for him, the whole time I was picturing him as like an older man, and then I looked at the fan art on Alex Aster's Instagram and he's like young and attractive, and I was like, well, in my head he was like old and not handsome at all. So me trying to reckon with that is really weird, and so I'm team Grimm. No matter what, Oro in my head is just an old man, and it's weird, which also he is because he's like 200 years old, so he is an old man. I don't know. That was a lot for me. That just took a toll on me, and I don't know what's gonna happen. But that was like the most exciting, and the only spoiler I have was that I really did like that reveal that they were in love prior, and I want to know more. So that was the best part of the book for me. That was the most exciting thing, and it was for the end. She saved the best for last. She pulled out the stops at the end, so I appreciated that. Let me know your thoughts on all of that if you want in the comments. You can like say spoiler, let me know, but I'm a little confused. If you can clarify anything, please do. But that's gonna be it for the video. So I did give it 4 stars, like I said. Let me know your ratings, your thoughts down below. If you want to check out my social media, you can. That'll all be linked down below. Some ways to help support my channel are also down there. But that's all I have to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
3, 2, 1. Arguing again, arguing about something so simple. Make it clear, tell me why you're running back to him. Feeling insecure, feeling like there's more to your character. Every tear that you cry is worth it in the